I thought this is such a brilliant system, this whole BRR thing, that we'll search for another dilapidated property. Amortization, bit of a difficult one to say that. Right, everybody, welcome. So we're going to be doing a series now where I break down each of the properties that we've purchased over the years in our property portfolio breakdown. So if you've come halfway through in the series, don't forget to go all the way back to the beginning, watch them all the way through one after the other, and then we'll do a summary at the end. Hopefully you're going to find this really interesting and kind of my journey on our property breakdown, which you'll see in other videos I feed in as a general thing. So here you're going to get the real meaty information. And then that information will be summarized at the end. So when you watch other videos and I say, so our property portfolio is XYZ, then you understand where that comes from. So you can watch these videos over and over again. Nice little series. And as I say, if you've come in halfway through, don't forget to go back to the beginning and watch them all the way through. Otherwise they won't make sense. Right, we're back again today as part of the property series where we're looking at all of the portfolio that we've got and we're breaking down all the numbers so that you can really kind of understand where we've got to. So we're on property number 2 now. So this was actually the house that I moved into. So we decided after doing property 1, we were going to release the money and then we were going to pay off any of the debt, and then we were going to purchase the house that we live in or live in now, and we were going to refurbish that. So I thought this is such a brilliant system, this whole BRR thing, that we'll search for another dilapidated property. So we're still back in the kind of financial crisis type area. So this is 2012, I think it is. And we're looking around and we come across this property and I go in and it's a typical kind of, it's been repossessed, the people have stripped all the radiators off the wall, taken the boiler with them, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's really not good, and they've like made a double driveway, but they've just like literally poured concrete onto the grass, all that sort of stuff. So you can imagine the picture. It doesn't smell of cat wee or have various pets trapped behind walls, but the place is filthy, smokers, everything a lot, and the roof's leaking. So we buy it to move into it. Initially we stayed actually renting a property, whilst we obviously then rented out our original flat that we referred to in the last video. But this particular property I then renovated and I kind of lived in it a little bit. It was pretty horrible. It was akin to almost camping, where we didn't have a kitchen and I would have to go in the back garden to fill up a washing bowl and then boil a kettle to then just wash some things. So it all became all about what could I eat that didn't involve any utensils. So lots of pot noodles and microwave meals, but yeah, and lots of late nights as well. But we bought this property and it was £155,000. Okay, so this is well, actually when we bought it was a 2-bed. Yeah, although it had an additional, I suppose you'd call it a dining room in the UK. I don't know what they call it elsewhere in the world, but basically it's separated from the kitchen and the living area. So it's its own room, a dining room. So you could kind of call it a 2/3-bed, really, depending on how you would market it. I'm sure an estate agent would call it a 5-bed, but the property was a 2/3-bed. So we went about doing it up. Bearing in mind we're paying £150,000 for it, and at the time I think the properties were probably worth about 190. So we've already built in, you know, a fair amount of equity here. But what we did is we actually got planning permission. It's a townhouse, so it's like split across 3 floors. And at the top here is the pitch roof, and the properties are built in the bedrooms are built in the pitch roof. What we did was we extended the dormer that comes out the side there, so it was actually like super long like that, rather than it being about half the size it was before, to create a 3rd bedroom upstairs and obviously that 4th bedroom now downstairs. So This, we lived in it while some of this work was going on. It's our primary home, which is really tax efficient because you don't pay capital gains tax on your personal residence, but you do on any business ones or second homes or whatever. So we took this property here and I worked out, because it was over a number of years, so it was quite complicated. We spent a whopping £57,000 on it, and it was probably about another £3,000 that I didn't account for or just got lost in the general thing. So we rounded up to 60k just to make the maths a bit easy for today. So we're buying at 155k and we spent 60k on it. So we're in for 215k now. Ooh, 215. That's a 2, everybody, just in case you can't see that. So 215k we're in for, okay? But our mortgage is obviously, we're still at 25%. So I think from memory it was 105 was the mortgage, give or take. Oh no, it might have been more than that. I think it was 110. The reason why it wasn't quite 25% because the mortgage came round right at the last minute and said, we don't like the fact that there's no electrics in the wall, so we think it's going to cost you even more to do it up. So we were actually we had to find even more money for the deposit. So we were probably running at about a 30%, 30 to 70%. So the mortgage is £110,000, okay? This did take us a little while to do up because bearing in mind we're in it and there was quite a lot of work, and I did pretty much everything bar build this extension myself, because obviously when you strip off the roof and it rains it does tend to pour through the building, so I needed to call in a few favours in order to do that, but that is built into this £60,000. Then when we came to remortgage it a few years later, the end value, we didn't actually release the money at the time, but we had the end value was £290,000. 290k. So you can see we're in for 215 at this moment in time, and it's worth 190k. So a bit of quick maths, that has created us 75 grand's worth of extra equity in that property. So we didn't actually remortgage that to start with. We decided to sit on this for a little bit. And you'll see in the next video, obviously there's a little bit of a gap where I actually decided to leave my job at this moment in time and decided to go out on my own and form my own business. But this 75k was locked into that, and in today's money the property's worth about £400,000. So you can say the 215,000 is what we're in for, if you like, plus the minus this, say 215,000. Will give you a total equity of 185k in this particular property. So that is our total equity there. And you can see our mortgage has stayed the same at 110k, except for this is actually, because we live in the property, this is one that you have to pay down. You can't do, well, you can ask for interest only, but they generally say that you can only have it for 6 months to a year and you have to have special circumstances. So this is a repayment one. So this would have gone down, but you can see that even if that was a repayment one and our mortgage was still 110,000, it's lost its value, a bit like the other property. So there's a theme going on here. Against the 400k that it is now worth. So we are now 3 times the original mortgage value. I know we've gone through a pandemic and there were some weird times and the rest of it, and you could say in today's money it might only be worth 385 or something, but it's still an incredible journey from the 110k mortgage all the way up to the valuation. Obviously we had to spend this £60,000. Now, tips on spending that kind of volume of money: try and do stuff yourself. Look on YouTube, there's a wealth of information. You'll be surprised. You can pull mates rates in and the rest of it and negotiate with builders. Find one that's not VAT registered, like a handyman, but a really skilled one, and buy the materials for them, because that will keep them below the VAT registration. You can buy the materials on your credit card. You can pay the bill off in a month's time or when you get paid or whatever. Have a look on eBay, Etsy, selling pages, all that sort of stuff. I bought, in this house there's a garage downstairs, there's a utility room. I bought a whole kitchen from somebody who was a wealthy person who just wanted a new kitchen put in. So the builder had taken the old kitchen out, and that wasn't part of the quote. So they took one photo of it, put it on Facebook, and I managed to buy myself a dishwasher, fitted kitchen, worktop, the rest of it. We put it all in the utility room, and I paid £100 for the whole lot, of which that would have probably been £2,500 of kitchen stuff. So yeah, some good tips there on how to manage this 60k, because that's not a small amount of money, you know, to find. I know we did it over a few years, but hopefully that is some good tips there for you. Don't forget to subscribe. It will give you a little alert and you'll be able to see that we've uploaded a new video. And don't forget to comment below. That actually helps the algorithm, and it will then pump the video out to a wider audience and hopefully help more people that will be of interest. So subscribe, like, comment. There are 3 things to do. Thank you for watching the video all the way through.